Thank you for being here this morning. Happy Woo Wednesday. What's up, everyone? What is up? Let's fucking go. What's up, Scully? Happy hump day. All right, my guys, here we go. Let's get started quickly because I need to get to work. So here we go. I'm sharing my screen. First things first. Papa. The United Cajun Navy has released a case report, an investigative case report related to the Nolan Wells case.
Details to the timeline of Nolan Wells, the Mississippi teen found dead on Horn Island. Investigators and the Wells family's legal team are still piecing together his final hours using newly released records. Wells, 18, went missing after going to the beach with friends on July 4th, and his body was discovered Monday, July 6th. GPS data obtained by CBS shows the boat left a private dock, arrived around Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. It left at 4:31 p.m. The boat returned to the original dock at 5:44 p.m., then traveled to Fort Bayou and a boat launch before being moved overland to a home. Audio of a distress call obtained by NBC said the bilge pump stopped working, and the vessel was reportedly towed about 3 miles before regaining speed. No autopsy results have been released, and investigators are asking for tips from anyone who was at Horn Island. They want first-hand information, along with original photos, original video, and original sound recordings.
It's almost time to dust off your favorite bar stool because Finian's is finally getting ready to pour pints again, and I got a first look inside. Nearly 2 years after Jackson's iconic Irish pub closed.
Okay, there we go. Let's read via the Clarion Ledger. Happy hump day. What's up? What's up? It says, editor's note, this story was corrected regarding the identification of a boat affiliated with Nolan Wells case. Interesting. A new report from the United Cajun Navy offers a look at how one outside organization, first of all, what is the United Cajun Navy, right? We know that the United Cajun Navy is a volunteer group. Okay, a volunteer group, not an investigative group. Okay, let's start there. So it is not standard protocol for the United Cajun Navy to issue an investigative report in a death investigation. That is not protocol, you guys. Their role here in this investigation was for a search and rescue and a disaster response. That is what the United Cajun Navy is. It's hello, Blue Devil, nice seeing you. That's what United Cajun is, you guys. United Cajun is a volunteer search and rescue group. They're in no position to provide an investigative report, a death investigation report at that. Their role is for search and rescue, as I said, and helping to locate missing persons, not conducting an official criminal investigations or determining what happened. They're muddying the waters here. There's too many cooks. Too many cooks in the kitchen. Yeah? Good morning, Jules. How are you, my love? In Nolan Wells' case, the United Cajun Navy explained that its 22-page report, we're going to review it because we have to look at all evidence and vet it out ourselves. We, as a public, need to vet out this information because it's obviously not being vetted. It's not being vetted by the mainstream media. The mainstream media is careless. Mainstream media doesn't give a fuck what it puts out there. It's up to us independent journalists. Yes, I call myself a journalist. to vet this information out, okay? Next, now something else I want to point out. There's a 22-page report that was provided. We're going to get to that document. And according to the Vice President of the United Cajun Navy, Brian Thrasher, the report was created. Now, here's why. You want to ask why, Brian? Why did your organization, being a volunteer group, provide this investigative report? Well, according to the United Cajun Navy, it was provided to organize tips, photographs, timelines, and information submitted by the public into a single document. So again, these are not facts. This is hearsay. This investigative report, it's being presented as a fact, and it is all hearsay. Again, this report organizes tips, photographs, timelines, and information submitted by the public. We need to be very wary in what we are reading and the information we are taking in. Okay? The report itself, it cautions. There is cautions. It contains unverified information. Again, this report contains unverified information. It is not the Bible. It is not to be taken as the Bible. And should be considered, they're wanting us to consider it as an official investigative findings, yet it is not factual. Again, it was reportedly shared with the Wells family, the Jackson County, and the Sheriff's Department. They're wanting, the Cajun Navy is wanting us to base our investigation on their report. And I say no. N to the motherfucking no. Okay? Now, there could be several reasons that volunteer organization groups may produce a report like this. Generally speaking, they do not. If they participated heavily in this investigation, possibly, and accumulated tips from the public, again, that's not their job. The case generated enough public attention. They felt the need to do it. They probably hoped to preserve some information by doing the report. That said, there are important limitations. This report has no official legal status. Again, although they want us to accept the report as consider it as an official investigative report, it is not. It is not. It has no official legal status. Okay? It does not replace any investigations that are being done by Jackson Sheriff's Office. It doesn't replace that. It doesn't replace any investigation that is being done by Ben Crump and his legal team. And it should not replace any investigation report that is being completed by the grand jury. So any pictures, witness statements, or any timelines contained in this report, it must be independently verified before they could be relied upon as evidence in a court. And this is where the Cajun Navy has failed. They have failed to provide, to verify this information as facts. They failed to verify this as facts before they concluded this investigative report. You can't just write up a witness statement as a fact. No, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. Cajun Navy, do better. Do better. You're a volunteer group. Stay in your lane. This report is unusual. It's super unusual because there is still an open investigation. There's still an open investigation, an active, ongoing investigation. So, this to me is unusual, and it's the first time I have seen the Cajun Navy complete an investigative report on an open, ongoing investigation. And that gave me pause. To the Wells family, I hope you're vetting this information. To the Wells family and Ben Crump and their legal team, I hope you are vetting this information, because these actions and these behaviors, ever since that audio came out, ever since that Black Queen, Jeanette Bailey, shout out to Jeanette Bailey, ever since that Black Queen came out with the enhanced audio version and we're able to identify voices, we're able to hear names, all hell's breaking loose. All hell's breaking loose. Everyone and their mothers are protecting these boys. In my opinion, this case reeks of a cover up, in my opinion, and it's giving off Idaho 4 vibes. Small town vibes. That's what it's giving off, you guys. It's ridiculous and it's gross. This report appears intended as a public compilation and analytical summary. It's not an official determination of what occurred. It's not. Let's take it with a grain of salt, everyone. It also emphasizes that a significant questions remain unresolved. So if there's so many unresolved questions and there is an open investigation, why insert yourself, United Cajun Navy? Why the fuck are you inserting yourself in this case? It's giving me pause. It's giving me pause. There's a gap between Nolan's last reported sighting. There's a gap between Nolan's last reported sighting was originally 3 o'clock. They keep moving the goalpost. They keep moving the goalpost. They keep on. 3 o'clock, 4:30. Now this report is stating 6 o'clock p.m. that he was seen on the island, that Nolan was seen on the island at 6 p.m. They keep on moving the goalpost, you guys. So the Cajun Navy wants us to believe that Nolan was on that island at 6 p.m. Now I ask myself, why would the Cajun Navy want us to believe that? And my question would be, because they do not want to place Nolan in that boat at 4:30. They are trying their hardest to not place Nolan on that boat at 4:30. Again, I repeat myself. The Cajun Navy is working hard to place Nolan on the island at 6 p.m. They do not want us to believe that Nolan was on the boat. But we know, what did Orwell say in his quote? What did George Orwell say in the quote? The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and the evidence of your ears. We heard the audio. We heard it. And we hear Nolan. We hear Nolan loud and clear. So no, I am rejecting this report from the Cajun Navy, wanting to place Nolan Wells at the island at 6 p.m. because we hear Nolan. We hear Nolan's name. So I reject that idea. Jules says, I seen an interview and the Cajun Navy guy said he reached out to Crump 2 times about bringing the cadaver dogs and that Crump never got back to them. I saw that as well. But the Cajun Navy, Crump is not, I think Crump answered perfectly. I think Crump answered perfectly because you know what? In order to search a boat, you would need a search warrant. In order to bring cadaver dogs into that boat, you would need a search warrant. And if they didn't have a search warrant, none of that information that they would have obtained in the search would have been valuable. We know this. Idaho 4, we know this. Search warrants. Some of them didn't even have search warrants. There was no search warrants. There's missing search warrants in the Idaho 4 case. How did they get all this evidence? Yeah, I think Crump did the right thing. And it seems that they're not working together. Initially, I believed that the United Cajun Navy was being helpful. Now I have some pause. After this report specifically, I am side-eyeing the United Cajun Navy. Sorry to say, it's my opinion and my perspective. Listen to this. I'm not sure when this was tweeted, but here you can tell they're not working together, and it's clear as day to me. They're not. Check this out. They tweeted, the fact that some people misinterpreted what fully clothed means is irrelevant at this point. No, it's relevant. What do you mean irrelevant? This first sentence is coming off defensive. Cajun Navy, get your fucking act together. Get your fucking act together. Means is irrelevant. No, everything is relevant. Everything is relevant. Nolan Wells was discovered wearing only the swim trunks. He was photographed in the day he went missing. The real issue is that Ben Crump falsely stated during his press conference that the Cajun Navy told Nolan's family that he was found fully clothed. But what the Cajun Navy is saying that fully clothed to them, it's just their swimming trunks. That's what all it means. And they took pictures. The Cajun Navy took pictures of Nolan's deceased body. Who the fuck would do some shit like that? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Taking pictures of Nolan's deceased body? What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? This shit is crazy. And look, it says, and then went on to further to invent a story about him wearing a shirt. They're not working together, my guys. They're not working together. They're not working to find out the truth about Nolan Wells here, in my opinion, allegedly. I see some opposition here. They're not working together. None of this is true. At no time did we ever discuss what we witnessed during the recovery with his family. We understand that controversy drives likes and clicks. Oh, so now Ben Crump is all about the clicks now. That's what they're saying. But who's driving the clicks now with that investigative report, Cajun Navy? Tell me, who's driving the clicks now, huh? Yeah. But people need to keep their eye on the ball. Yeah, you're right, we do. We're due, and we do. And we're side-eyeing you, United Cajun Navy. We're side-eyeing you because we do have our eyes on the ball. and for the truth and for justice for Nolan. Now listen to this. It's saying misinformation has harmed this investigation and the community of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. We will continue to call out misinformation when we see it and correct it with facts. Now, you may want to take this back because all you're putting out here, you're not putting out facts here. Everything that you listed on this report, let me share it, is hearsay. Is hearsay. So what facts do you speak of? What facts exactly are you speaking of? Because everything on this report is hearsay. Let's share it. Let's get to this. And this is provided via TMZ. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a copy. Unfortunately, I was unable to find a copy without the large logo on here. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. Thank you guys for being here. Hello, everyone. I'm not a fan of resting bitch face disgrace. It seems she isn't buying the narrative either. Really? Huh? Jules, why you say that? Hold on. You know what? Let's go there. Let's go to Nancy G. And she actually presents this report. Yeah, me either, Jules. I'm not a fan of her either. And I'm not sure yet, but here we go. Yeah, let's play this one. We're going to play her latest.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car.
And let me share. What's up, Boston? Welcome to the chat. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna listen to, yeah. Let's hear that, Jules. You're right.
Bombshell report tonight. Does it reveal new witnesses? And because of the new timeline report, is there a timeline shift in what happened the afternoon and evening? Nolan Wells seemingly disappears. His body found washed up at Horn Island. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. What is in that autopsy?
Now I really want to see the other autopsy to see, is there trauma to the body? Is there something that happened?
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
I have no doubt that what we're listening to and what she did is critical.
Not only has the timeline been analyzed by the Cajun Navy, the U.S. Cajun Navy, based on all sorts of statistical data, new photos are emerging. Take a look at this photo before we go to the Cajun Navy. Look at this. Check out what you're seeing. Look at all the boats surrounding where Nolan was. Leave up the photo out to Caitlin Becker, senior national correspondent, New York Post, star of New York Postcast, and their new podcast.
Damn, Nancy, this shit is blurry as hell. What you doing to us?
Caitlin, what are...
There we go. You guys can see? Now, Super interesting here, you guys, because we read the actual official police report on our last episode. Go check it out if you haven't. Now, we are going to keep referencing that official document. It's an official police report. Now, in that official police report, we have only two boats. Only two boats are listed in that police report, okay? And it's the Triton and there's a black boat. Where in God's name are you seeing a black boat here? Because I am not seeing a black boat unless this Palm Beach is black. Could be. I mean, it does have a black motor. Is that what you call these things? A motor? The motor to the boat. Is that what you call it? Anyway, what black boat? Where is this black boat that's on the official report? Again. And then I want to add on to the GPS data. The GPS data was only collected on one boat, on the Triton, allegedly. Okay, let's continue.
BC.
Well, what we're seeing here comes from this new report from the United Cajun Navy, and you're seeing several boats strung together. This is one of the first images that we've seen of this certain configuration of boat there.
Well, I'll tell you what I am seeing here. What I am seeing here is that it's rather difficult, rather unusual for Nolan Wells to have drowned here without anyone knowing. Look at all of these people. You're telling me he's drowning and he's not gonna scream out for help or try and like splash? So you're telling me he's gonna accidentally drown amongst all these people out here? Nah, bro, nah. Come with something better. Come with something better.
They're all identified, one of which was the boat that Nolan came out there on. There's several others kind of anchored with it and tied up, which begs the question of where was Nolan when this photo was taken? Because it's unclear if he's
Well,
Hey, Caleb.
actually, I'll show you where I think Nolan was. Okay? Which I'm already getting backlash. I'm already getting backlash for it, but here it is. Here's the video of where I believe Nolan was. Let me make sure you guys are seeing this.
Hey
Ready?
guys, I was watching Nancy Grace and there's something that stood out to me regarding the Nolan Wells case. She was showing some footage and notice how Nolan has the red beads on. Well, this new footage that's circulating, that's Warren right there. And he's wearing both red and white beads.
So I noticed this that Warren is wearing red and white beads. Okay, but in that initial picture, check this out.
Hey guys,
It does look like, I don't know if that's blue or red. Help me out, chat. I initially when I saw this photo, I've seen it in many lights because just the filters on it. Initially, I thought this was a blue bead, right? Red, white, and blue, obviously. Now, some people are even claiming this is not from the 4th of July. Well, how could it not be? They're celebrating red, white, and what do you mean this picture's not from the 4th of July, right? They're saying this is from last year. I don't know, you guys. But what did I want to say? All right, so initially I thought he was wearing blue beads, right? So we know he's wearing red and white, right? Now watch this.
Hey guys, I was watching Nancy Grace and there's something that stood out to me regarding the Nolan Wells case. She was showing some footage and notice how Nolan has the red beads on. Well, this new footage that's circulating, that's Warren right there. And he's wearing both red and white beads. But if we go back to that original picture, see that's Warren on the Palm Beach boat. If you go back to the original picture of all of them on the boat, Nolan has red beads on. And so I don't know. Also,
So I'm just questioning, when did he change? Like what happened? Like I'm questioning. So, you know, It's good to see these details from an investigative standpoint, like, okay, in a timeline standpoint, like when exactly did he was that picture taken before or after this video, right? Because now we see a change in their clothing, a change in something. You get what I mean? That's strictly from an investigative standpoint, okay, or timeline.
So
Now,
let me know what you guys think.
now I want to show you something real quick because it appears to be Nolan. Check it. I also noticed too that this appears to be like
No. Oh, so let me know what you guys think. Pictures, footage that's this new footage that's circulating, is that
I don't know if that's a scar. I noticed that this as well. I don't know if that is a scar. I'm just saying. I'm just saying that don't take this as facts. I am speculating here, but we need to get to the truth. We need to look at everything.
Warren right there? And he's wearing both red and white beads. But if we go back to that original picture, see that's Warren on the Palm Beach boat. If you go back to the original picture of all of them on the boat, Nolan has red beads on. And so I don't know. Also, let me know what you guys think. See what I mean? And Warren is wearing blue beads, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I could be
That's what I thought, but it could be red also, you guys.
wrong. So I was just zooming in to all of these.
Now watch this. I was zooming in and obviously trying to find Nolan. You guys, what do you guys think? Is this Javon? What's going on here? Javon, maybe? Because we know that there were at least three other black kids there, right? Javon, Tristan, he considers himself white, but I don't know.
People in the background seeing if I find no.
Now check this out, you guys. Over here, my God, you guys, this could be Nolan, in my opinion. Check this out.
Nolan, and I kind of think I spotted him. Take a look. Let me know what you guys think. Because if I'm not mistaken, those.
And what's crazy, it's the way he's facing to the camera. So who's ever recording, he may know the person that's recording this video. He's facing towards the camera, you guys. Check it.
Are this
Like towards Warren, towards the camera. Look, he's facing up, right?
same shades he's wearing? Watch, if we go back to the other picture,
And it looks like he's whoever's in the water, he's got some shades on. So I'm just trying to put two and two together, you guys. What do you guys think?
you see, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think.
You see that? Oh boy, I'm trying. Yeah, I tried to zoom in. Can you see that? Because you guys, you know what? Like, you guys ever watch Weekend at Bernie's? Cause am I saying it right? Weekend at Bernie's? Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. Bro, this shit is giving me Weekend at Bernie's vibes. Do you guys see this? Do you ever guys watch this movie, Weekend at Bernie's? They're carrying around with their dead friends. Why this shit gave me Weekend at Bernie's vibes. Let me play it again.
Could be Nolan, maybe not. Because if I'm not mistaken, I kind of think I spotted him. Take a look. Let me know what you guys think. Because if I'm not mistaken, those are the same shades he's wearing. Watch, if we go back to the other picture, you see, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Could be.
You guys, I don't know.
I was just zooming in. So I was just zooming in to all of these people in the background, seeing if I find Nolan. and I kind of think I spotted him take a
Look at the hair. Guys, what if this is Nolan? I don't know.
look. Let me know what you guys think. Because if I'm not mistaken, those are the same shades he's wearing. Watch, if we go back to the other picture, you see, I don't know, let me know what you guys.
Wow, wow, wow. Like, okay, remember, like, if you're a dark person, when you get so much sun, and if you take a picture, you're gonna look darker. Like, no, you're gonna look darker. So the fact that people are saying, no, it's too dark to be Nolan. No, when you're out in the sun, you're gonna look darker, you guys. Now, let's try and compare his forehead at least. Look.
If we go back to the other picture, you see, I don't know, let me know what, I don't know, let me know what, I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I don't know, I don't know, let me know what you, I don't know, let me know, I don't know, let me know, I don't know, let me know, I don't know, let me know what you, I don't know, let me know what you, I don't know, let me know what you guys, I don't know, let me know what you guys, I don't know, let me know what you guys, I don't know, let me know what you guys think.
Bruh, bruh. We need, oh my God, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep it moving. All right, now that we heard that, let's keep it moving. Let's go on to, here, let's go back to the report. Nancy Grace, 1 second.
Attention homeowners, I want to buy your house right now as is, no matter what condition it's in. And not only do I want to purchase your property, but I want to provide a direct.
One of which was the boat that Nolan comes from this new report from the United Cajun Navy, and you're seeing several boats strung together. This is one of the first images that we've seen of this certain configuration of boat there.
Yeah, Jules, I'm gonna get you a timestamp right here. Watch. So it's on the Nancy Grace, right? The last one that was posted 16 hours ago, right? And let me get a timestamp exactly so you guys can see it for yourself. It's probably easier that way. Here. Let me play this. Okay, one second.
They're all identified, one of which was the boat that Nolan came out there on. There's several others kind of anchored with it and tied up, which begs the question of where was Nolan when this photo was taken? Because it's unclear if he's actually in it. What time was this photo actually taken? So what you're seeing here is, as you said, a potential pool of witnesses.
Hey, Caitlin, look at this. There's boat number 1. There's boat X. There's boat number 2. There's boat number 3. And there's a boat from which.
Yeah, we've been saying all along, it's more than 3 boats. And it looks like there's adults here. Look at these guys over here. There's adults on this boat, you guys. Boat 1 has adults.
The photo is taken. Now, look in the water. Much has been made. Nolan Wells was drinking. Okay, well, apparently everybody was. They all have containers, open containers.
Because look, there's other guys here that are kind of like dark skinned, but like this one here and this one here, you know? I tried to zoom into these two, but they don't appear like Nolan, like the other guy. It doesn't look the same.
In the water. Okay, as far as I know, that's not a felony. Boat number 1, full of people. Boat X, full of people. Boat number 2, full of people. Boat number 3, there's a boat number.
And they keep saying this is Nolan. They keep saying this is Nolan on this boat. Look.
I have no doubt that what we're listening to and what she did is credible.
Not only has it.
Hold on, you guys.
The boats surrounding.
The boats.
Time was this photo actually taken? So what you're seeing here is, as you said, where was Nolan when this photo was taken? Because it's unclear if he's actually in it. what time was this photo actually taken.
Exactly. Like Cajun Navy is putting out all this information. They don't even know when this photo was taken. So what timeline are you actually providing? Because you don't even know when this photo was taken. You see how like they're trying to muddy the waters?
We're seeing here is, as you said,
Watch.
There's a boat from which have contained number 3 full says
has been people who have spoken
Here.
to, we don't know
Here's
from an
your
investigative
timestamp.
standpoint
Ready?
who has been spoken to, exactly who is in this photo and what they have or haven't.
Here, timestamp 3:27 joules. Yeah. Katie girl, at first I was like, yo, protect Katie at all costs, protect Katie. But now I fear that Katie may have more information on this case than she's initially leading us to believe, okay? Yeah, 327 on here, Jules. Look at that. Look at that. I think that's Nolan, you guys. We need the actual metadata. We need the metadata to this video because we need to know what time this was taken. And you'd think, oh, this is obtained by Officer Tatum. You'd think that for transparency, for actual truth and transparency, that time would be given to us or to the families, right? Because this will prove, if this is actually Nolan, this will prove that at this time, Nolan appears to be alive. Now, check out all of these boats, you guys. Look at this. And if he's in this boat, what boat is this? If that's, and this guy looks familiar. This guy looks like the guy that's at the dock. The other Tatum video that has been circulating of guys walking off and on the dock to the boat, this looks like one of the fellas on the dock. And could this guy actually, let me screen grab this. Could this dude right here actually be the guy they keep showing us?
Law enforcement.
Could this dude be the actual guy they keep showing us? That they keep saying it's Nolan. Just like TMZ. TMZ's coming out, you know, oh, this is Nolan with, you know, pointing us to Nolan. This guy
Hasn't been really any
that guy has blue shorts on. Are they confusing him with Nolan?
transparency there, but from what our
Watch this.
reporting has showed, there have been dozens of people who have spoken to law enforcement as witnesses. But Nancy, we don't know if it's any of these people that you're seeing in.
There's a lot of white hats out here. I want to know, what is that? You know, like a certain group, like, I wouldn't say, you know, Make America Great Again type hats, but similar, maybe it's a 4th of July hat or something like that, right? But I'm seeing a lot of white hats out here, okay? Not that it means anything, but what if it's just from a certain organization, a certain club, a certain group? You know, that would be a good thing to know, all right?
This
continue.
little cove area.
You see that? Oh my God, 342, timestamp 342 right there. Now, again, you see this guy with the blue? Is this the guy that they keep telling us looks like Nolan when he's bending down? Oh my God, that's the cooler. Guys, that's the cooler. That's the cooler that the actual, I have a video of that somewhere. I have a video that on WLOX, we need to go there. There's a video that they keep showing of police officers confiscating things. And this cooler stood out to me. This cooler stood out to me. Wait, we need to go there now. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but we need to get to the bottom of this. Give me 1 second. So let's go to the playlist. Let's go to Nolan's playlist, right? Now, on this playlist, there's earlier reports out here. I remember seeing that cooler. Give me 1 second. Here, could be this one. Let's check it out.
Morning, an urgent investigation to determine how 18-year-old Nolan Wells died on a boating trip with friends off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. As they await the results of the official autopsy, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office wants to hear from anyone who was on Horn Island over the 4th of July weekend.
I would urge anyone that had information or was on the island to let us interview you and take down as much information as we can to really piece together and figure out what may have happened.
Authorities say Wells' friends left the island and he stayed behind and was supposed to take a different boat back to the mainland Saturday, but never did. After a desperate search, Wells' body was found off the shore Monday. Investigators say...
Bingo. Let's screen grab this. 1 second. My pattern recognition is patterning right now because this bad boy was on that boat. Give me 1 second. Now let's go
They
back.
have no information at this time.
Now let's go back to that.
We're developing a timeline of events after 18-year-old Nolan Wells disappeared off the coast of Mississippi. Authorities say Wells traveled to Horn Island with a group of friends to celebrate.
Where was I? Nancy Grace, right? What the fuck? Sorry, guys, I'm getting there. Give me 1 moment. We're going back to Nancy Grace. Here we go.
Cove area right here.
Okay, now that we have the screenshot, let's compare. Let's see if it's
And the
same.
timing, I think is really important because these images are taken right around, I think the timeline's about 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish, when the boat that Nolan came out there on, investigative standpoint, enforcement hasn't been really, they have or haven't.
Yes. You guys, that's the same cooler. Boom. That's the same cooler. Can you guys see? Let me share my screen again. Holy shit, that's the same cooler. Now, what does that mean? It means that that cooler was taken as evidence by the sheriffs. Let me share the screen. Let me share the picture again so you guys could take another look at it. I'm trying here. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go, you guys. I'm sorry. Let me share my screen. Okay, there it is. There it is. Same cooler. You see that? State law enforcement. Evidence, baby. That's evidence right there. And it was collected. Yes, it was. Closed window. Okay, now back to Nancy Grace. See that? Same cooler. Same cooler, you guys. That means this was collected as evidence. Okay? And they cannot tell us it wasn't because we have photos. And we cannot deny what our eyes see and what our ears hear. Okay, you guys don't let them. Let's continue.
Told law enforcement because there hasn't been really any transparency there. But from what our reporting has showed, there have been dozens of people who have spoken to law enforcement as witnesses. But Nancy, we don't know if it's any of these people that you're seeing in this little cove area.
Yes, Post lady, whatever, New York Post lady, open your eyes. Open your fucking eyes. Nolan is right there, in my opinion. What do you mean Nolan is nowhere to be found? Open your eyes and fucking look.
Right here. And the timing, I think, is really important because these images are taken.
Yeah, well, Miss Post Lady, New York Post Lady, why the fuck, before you're sharing this information, go to the source. That's what a journalist does. A journalist does. True journalist. You go to the source and you say, hey, well, can you give us a timestamp here? Because this is not a fucking guessing game. This is a life we're dealing with here. This is Nolan Wells's life. It's not a fucking guessing game. Oh, but you're coming on a fucking Nancy Grace show talking about, oh, we don't know if Nolan was here. Oh, we don't know what time this is. Then why the fuck are you showing it? Why the fuck are you showing it?
Right around, I think the timeline's about 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish. When
she said 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish. That's a big fucking difference. That's an hour difference.
The boat that Nolan came out there on leaves and starts taking on water. That's one of the pegs for the timeline. When these photos were actually taken, that is a peg for a timeline. But what we don't know is where.
And they keep showing this. And they keep showing this and stating that this is Nolan Wells. Is that the Mac Daddy, the little daddy, or the Mac Daddy? Because there's a Mac Daddy boat too. You know, crisscross will make you, Mac Daddy will make you, Daddy Mac will make you jump, jump. Those are lyrics. Yeah. They called one of their boats the Mac Daddy. So they have a little daddy and a Mac Daddy. And they keep pointing us. Mind you. Oh, there's the black one. Oh, there's the black boat. Huh. So we know that on a police report, they're pointing to a black boat. Is this the one they're pointing to? This is the first black one I see on here. Let me take a screenshot of this. And they're trying to tell us this is Nolan. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is Nolan? Because it's interesting how they're mixing up the footages too. Like they're mixing this footage and they're adding on to it, like trying to confuse us. Because we initially think that's Nolan over here, but then they're coming out with this. Like it's not the same footage and they're placing it on the same frame, so to speak, so that it appears to be the same footage. Why do they do that? That's so wrong. Look. They overlap the footage so that it appears it's all taken at the same time. But that's not accurate. Check it out. Look.
And what they have or haven't told.
Okay, so here's the one where we believe Nolan is. And now watch how they overlap this other video.
Law enforcement because there hasn't been really any transparency there. But from what our reporting has showed, there have been dozens of people who have spoken to law enforcement as witnesses. But Nancy, we don't know if it's any of these people that you're seeing in this little cove area right here. And the timing, I think, is really important because these images are taken right around, I think the timeline's about 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish, when the boat that Nolan came out there on leaves and starts taking on water.
There's another black one here. You see right here? There's actually now a couple more black boats. I'm noticing now that I have my eyes on a black boat. There's two here.
That's one of the pegs for the timeline. When these photos were actually taken, that is a peg for a timeline. But what we don't know.
Boom. See? See how they overlapped it and added this video on top of it? To show you where they believe Nolan is. But how do we know if that's Nolan? You know, you get what I'm saying, you guys?
Is where Nolan is. There he is. You can see that.
No, New York Post lady, we don't know if that's Nolan.
That image right there. What we don't know is where Nolan was when that first image that we saw with all of those boats kind of tied together, when that was taken.
Well, that's part of your investigative job as a journalist to find out when that picture was taken before presenting such.
You are seeing a photo obtained by our friends at the United Cajun Navy.
Wait, Jules, you're saying the big old black boat belongs to Katie's families? Is that or is it the other, the little? I know that the little daddy and Mac Daddy somehow is tied to Katie, but I'm talking about the black one. Well, it's not evidence. The evidence is overwhelming. Well, this is not evidence. This is all hearsay, you guys. What I'm showing you right now is hearsay. And that Cajun Navy report is all hearsay as well, you guys. Those aren't facts. Those are analysis provided by the Cajun Navy based on the information they gathered from witness statements. But witness statements we know are hearsay. Witness statements are not facts. Do you guys understand that? No, the other one, not the black one. Gotcha. Yeah, Jules. So somehow it seems like they're trying to place Nolan Wells on Katie's boat is from my standpoint, my perspective is what it's looking like to me. Like they're adamant. They're wanting to place Nolan on Katie's boat. Let's continue.
And speaking of the United Cajun Navy, joining me now is Brian Trasher, Vice President.
And Brian Thrasher doesn't even want to show his face. What does that tell you? Brian Thrasher with a bomb. He drops a fucking bomb of a report, of an investigative report. Huge, huge, he says. Huge for the investigation, right? A huge report for investigation purposes because they want to get to the truth. They want to get to the truth and what's happened to Nolan. And there's like so much misinformation and disinformation out there, right? But you can't even show your fucking face. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
United Cajun Navy. And for all of you attacking the United Cajun Navy. Let's see that aerial.
Well, that's for me. What, Nancy? What?
Footage they provided us. This is from the Cajun Navy describing their search, their aerial search. They spotted Nolan Wells' body.
And took a picture of his dead body, by the way, I may add.
Have been integral in the.
And what's crazy and shady is that those photos were not given to the parents. Those photos were not shared to the parents. Those photos were shared to Nancy Grace and the legacy media. The Cajun Navy took photos of Nolan Wells's dead body and shared it with the legacy media. Look it up.
Search for Nolan Wells and helping elucidate the facts as we know them.
Yeah, Nancy Grace is like, okay, for all of you guys attacking the Cajun Navy, right? That's what she's saying.
Brace yourself, Trasher. Everybody else is getting death threats. You might as well join the party. To you, Brian Trasher, the United Cajun Navy has come up with a timeline. Now, did I hear Caitlin Becker from the New York Post correctly that that photo where the boats are named Boat 1, Boat 2, Boat 3, and Boat X, is that from you guys, the United Cajun Navy?
First of all, I want to thank you for calling this report what it is, and that's a timeline. And some people have called it an investigative report, and that's not accurate because.
Okay. He's saying calling it an investigative report is not accurate. He's just providing a timeline. Okay, let's continue.
As you know, we're not investigators. And what we did, Nancy, was
Yeah, they're not investigators. And as I said when I started off the show, the United Cajun Navy are volunteers. They're volunteers, and their role is for search and rescue. For search and rescue. Their role should not be conducting an official investigation. They're not investigators. And you hear it here from himself say that. You hear him say, we're not investigators. Okay? So if you're not, why are you literally coming out here with a 22-page document that is titled Analysis, Timeline, and Vessel Movement Analysis? Why? You're literally coming out with a 22-page report labeling it a timeline and a analysis, but you're not an investigator. So make it make sense.
asked our followers, say, hey, if anybody was there that day, you have pictures, videos, whatever, send it to us just so we can go through it, see if there's anything relevant. We took all that information and compiled it into just one digestible report of things we thought were relevant and could be helpful. Maybe they're not. Maybe.
Listen to what he said. Could be helpful. Maybe they're not. Maybe. Wow. See, we shouldn't operate on maybes here. We should not operate on maybes here. Nolan Wells deserves more than maybes. He deserves a full, thorough investigation by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department. Not a bullshit 22-page timeline investigative wannabe report. No. To what? To muddy the waters? To muddy the waters? Because now everyone out here and their mothers and their fathers and their goats and dogs and cats, they will take this as a Bible. They will allow this to influence their perspective. See, that's what media does. That's what media does. Legacy media, mainstream media, when they're trying to form a narrative, they're grasping at straws. I'm telling you, when that Black sister, Jeanette Bailey, came out here and broke down that audio and enhanced that audio, everyone is grasping for straws to protect these boys, in my opinion and my perspective. And that's not what should be going on. We should be trying to get to the bottom of the truth for Nolan Wells. Meanwhile, the Jackson City Sheriff's Department is tight-lipped, keeping everything close to the vest. Right? It's crazy. Now listen to this. This is the timeline they have. They're saying that at 3:23 p.m., there shows a crowded Anchorage, right? A video with the group of people out here. 4:27, Video shows boats, people in Anchorage again.
The law enforcement.
Then 4:31, Nolan's friends left Horn Island. Notice how they're making sure that they don't place Nolan in that boat leaving Horn Island at 4:31 p.m. Yet, we know what we hear, you guys. Don't let public persuasion from legacy media infiltrate your gut feelings. Not only your gut feelings, but the truth. The truth. In my opinion, they are not wanting to place Nolan on that boat. And we hear what we hear. We heard it in the audio. We hear Nolan's voice. 5 p.m., there's a group of people fighting. Now, which group? Because we hear of more than one fight. We hear several fights. Trayston, Warren's brother. Which fight is this? A third fight going on? Because it sounds to me there's several fights happening on this day. Then at 7:30, a witness states Nolan nowhere in sight. They're taking their word for it. This is hearsay. This is why this is so dangerous. And I have to speak on it. I have to. This is so dangerous for this investigation. And I wish Ben Crump would come out here and, not Ben Crump, but the Wells's attorneys rebut this. I want them to rebut this so badly. But we know that they're conducting their own investigation, right?
It's already seen all this, and it's nothing new to them. But we just wanted to be transparent about what we received. So going back to your question, the pictures that we received, we did not, as an organization, take any of these photographs. These are all images that we received from people who were trying to help us out and trying to help Nolan's family out.
So you asked the public for help, and you got it. You got a treasure trove of photos, and I find this one significant. Guys, we've got an all-star panel, and I would like the all-star panel to look at their screens, because I've talked about this before, Brian Trasher, and I'm frankly fed up with attacks on the United Cajun Navy. They're doing something, which is more than all of the haters can say.
Nancy, they are overstepping. They are overstepping their role here in this investigation. Their role was the search and rescue. As far as I'm concerned, they have no role in this investigation. Their role was for search and rescue, and Nolan has been found. They need to exit this investigation and go on to continue searching and rescuing more missing persons out there. Exit yourself from this investigation because you're not investigators. All right? They're overstepping. I'm sorry to say. Look at Nancy's eyes.
They're doing something. They have amassed evidence. They have created the timeline to the best of their ability. They have shared it with us. Unlike the autopsy that is complete, it's being kept secret from us. That said, they're helping. Why trash them?
It's not about trashing them. It's about putting them in their place. And where they belong is for search and rescue. They weren't called to investigate this case.
That's, I'm not a shrink. I can't answer that. Let's look at this photo and determine what, if anything, we can discern. Brian, you and I have talked many, many times, and I told you about a serial killer I finally convicted on one case. The jury convicted him. And I proved a lot because of one earring I found in a particular location. The victim was wearing an earring, and the other earring had been sliced out of her ear, and I found it somewhere else, and I learned a lot because of where it was. Now, don't even bother to tell me that this photo that you have produced is not probative of something. The cluster of boats. Number one, I see a lot of witnesses. Trasher, do we know what time this photo was taken?
We don't know definitively times on all these because.
So why put them out there? Why put this shit out there if you don't have the data? You don't have the data to back it up, but yet you want to come out here with a 22-page investigative report with a timeline. What timeline are you creating? What fucking timeline are you creating here? A fake one? Okay, cool. We'll go with your fake timeline then, because you don't have shit.
Even though they're time stamped, it could be a time when it was screenshotted, stamped, not necessarily, the original photograph. So we were very careful to denote that in our report that we can't verify timelines, although based on, shadows and positions and things like that, we can determine that some of these, as noted, are taken in the late afternoon. One of the things I thought was interesting about some of these photos we got, Nancy, was that a lot of the photos we had seen before were people like in waist deep water. Well, some of the photos we provided show people up, water up to their chest, almost to their neck. And that's not really wading. That's treading water, in my opinion. And that I thought might have been significant to know that many people were.
Check this out, because they're saying here that this is Nolan. Now look at the color of those shorts, guys. You see that? So if we pull up, because the photo of Nolan on the boat, I don't know. I mean, filters can change the color of things. Filters can definitely change the color of things. I don't know if maybe there's a really dark filter on this, and these shorts appear to be like a dark royal blue. But based on the photo that has been circulating when they're all on the boat, that's not the color of shorts he's wearing in that photo. Okay, so not sure what's going on here, but there's obviously someone that appears to be Nolan and someone behind him as well. You can tell someone right immediately behind him. You see that? Okay, let's continue.
Perhaps enjoying some libations, but also in water that might have been a little too deep just to be playing in.
Good point. You also said something else really smart. And I certainly do not want to rely on this, but sometimes you have to, you take the evidence as you find it and you make the most of what you've got. You said you could tell this was late in the afternoon because of the shadowing. I wonder if the tide could tell me anything because how high up the water is, but I want to rely on this.
He said this could have been taken late in the afternoon because of the shadowing. Okay. I see what he's saying.
But sometimes you have to, you take the evidence as you find it and you make the most.
For people like in waist deep water. Well, some of the photos we provided show people up, water up to their chest, almost to their neck. And that's not really wading. That's treading water in my.
So I want to agree with that assessment. I want to agree that it looks like a later on in the day
opinion. And that I thought might have been significant to know that many people were.
And this photo too. Could this happen later on in the day as well?
Or, perhaps enjoying some libations, but also in water that might have been a little too deep just to be playing in.
Good point. You also said something else really smart.
Good point. Good fucking point, Jules. Why the fuck is their photo redacted? Do you see what I mean though? Like this ties into what I mean. Like you're wanting us to follow your timeline and your investigative report. But what exactly are we following? Because you're not giving us a timeline. You're not giving us facts. You're just giving us witness statements, witness photos with no clear time of when it was taken.
Treading water, in my opinion, and that I thought might have been significant to know that many people were.
See? Like, yeah, if that's Nolan, why the fuck is he redacted? If you're trying to tell us this is Nolan, why are you redacting his face? Something's up here. Something's up, you guys. What if this is Nolan? What if it is? I've seen a lot of pictures of Nolan, and he absolutely has this muscular body. Nolan has a super muscular body. This could very well be Nolan. This is crazy. Let's continue.
Or, perhaps enjoying some libations, but also in water that might have been a little too deep just to be playing in.
Good point. You also said something else really smart. And I certainly do not want to rely on this, but sometimes you have to, you take the evidence as you find it and you make the most of what you've got. You said you could tell this was late in the afternoon because of the shadowing. I wonder if the tide could tell me anything because how high up the water is. But these people holding drinks, they're not treading water, Trasher. They're standing there. These people are not treading water, and the water is up to their armpits. Is that the photo you're talking about as to where you think some of them are treading water, or are there other photos?
The photo at the top, yeah, you're right. It's about up to their armpit. I think there was one later in the report that that showed some of the kids.
Yeah, but so you're trying to state, so you're basically insinuating that Nolan Wells could have possibly been out here with water to his neck? Because here, we're seeing all these folks here. Chest high, chest high, chest high. Yeah, here it may be a little. Would Nolan swim out to deep water? I don't think so. Would Nolan swim out to deep water? I don't see that. Why would he put himself in danger? Why?
This is a screenshot of a social media post, and there's 3 boats visible, one fourth boat further in the.
It's a screenshot of a social media post. You get what I'm saying? Like they're not even vetting their information. This investigative report that the Cajun Navy has drawn up are full of assumptions. Did they vet this picture? How do we know this picture is from this day? How do we know that? Did they actually vet this picture before placing it on their 22-page investigative report? No, they did not.
Distance, but a lot of kids on one boat. I say kids, young people on one boat, some on the boat, some in the water. And some of them, it looks, maybe up to the armpit, but some of them, depending on their own height, it looks like it's, I could see a girl holding something in her hand and the water looks to be pretty close to her neck. So that's pretty far out. Now, we've said several times.
Yeah, to her neck, but to these guys, it's to their chest. It's to their chest. Maybe she's a shorty. Come on, guys. I mean, I don't know what this Cajun Navy's deal is. I don't know what this guy's deal is, honestly. I'm treading lightly. I'm treading lightly with the Cajun Navy because I don't know what their angle is right now. I really don't, in my opinion.
That Horn Island has a very aggressive slope. So you can be in shallow water and deep water within just a few steps. And once you get into that deep water, you're not as able to keep your feet on the ground if a current comes and pulls you, or God forbid, a riptide comes and drags you. So that's why we thought it was significant to know that they were socializing in fairly deep water.
Can we go back to the main photo?
He wanted us to know that was their, I mean, he just answered my question. He wanted us to know that they were in deep, dangerous water, is why he's providing these photos. Okay.
Where the boats are numbered 1, 2, 3, X. Isn't it true, Brian Trasher, that these boats are easily identifiable by I call it a tail number, like you would a plane? Every boat has to be registered.
Not Nancy with her Pirates of the Caribbean mug. Really, Nancy? Really?
Supposed to be registered. It has a number on it. It often has a name like Triton. One was named Mac Daddy. There were other names. They're registered, and you know who the owner is, and the owner can tell us who was on the boat that day. Is that correct?
Theoretically, yeah. If you can make out the registration number or the name of the boat, if the vessel's name is registered, along with the registration number. Usually that's sometimes only on a Coast Guard document, but sometimes on a state registration, you put the vehicle, the boat name if it's asked for, or if you have one. So that is all possible. I'm told, and we're asked to compare notes with the sheriff's office, which we're doing. But I was told that there's been a lot of people that have been contacted and interviewed, and there's a lot of people who were there.
Wait, he said he compared notes with the sheriffs. I'm smelling a cover up. John, thank you for joining. John Boneo, I appreciate your commentary, by the way, because I know that you're a boat, well, at least know about boats. So thank you for joining. There's one thing, John. There is one thing I want to say. Why would on that call we hear them saying pull the plug, what is it, pull the plug or something like that? Wouldn't pulling it mean that the water would be filled even more with water? Am I understanding that correctly? Because on that audio you hear someone stating I think Bart was mentioned, pull the plug or pull some plug. Now, my question is, wouldn't that mean that you're now allowing more water into the boat by doing that? No, go ahead and block. Block. I already blocked a couple people. Like, no, don't come in here. If you don't agree with our opinion or our perspective, you can simply go to another channel. Go to Cajun Navy's channel if you want. All right, so let's continue.
So that is all possible. I'm told, and we're asked to compare notes with the sheriff's office.
We were asked to compare notes with the sheriff's office. Let me ask ChatGPT real quick. So you're telling me the Jackson County Sheriff Office is not conducting their own investigation? Why are they comparing notes with the Cajun Navy? Why? That's confusing to me. Why are they comparing notes? Why is the Cajun Navy comparing notes with the Jackson County Sheriff's Office? After the search, the Cajun Navy compiled a 22-page report from tips, photos, timelines, and information submitted by the public. Hearsay, all hearsay. The organization says it shared that report with the Wells family, the Jackson County Attorney's Office, and the Sheriff's Office. If the volunteers, the Cajun Navy, receives any original photos, videos, or witness contacts, they need to provide this to the actual investigators completing this investigation. That's crazy. They shouldn't be conducting a joint criminal investigation. I understand he's saying that they asked to compare notes, but the Cajun Navy and the Sheriff's Office, they should not be conducting a joint investigation. That is not, what's the word, ethical? That would not be ethical, in my opinion, but let's keep on.
A lot of people who were there that day that voluntarily came forward to tell what they know, and because they might have seen their boats and pictures, said, "Oh, we might want to go ahead and call them, let them know, where we were, who was with us, and what we know." So I commend those people for coming forward because it's not always easy.
To Marie Pereira joining us in addition to the Vice President of the United Cajun.
So I'm really confused because, in fact, the United Cajun Navy earlier on in this investigation, they came out saying, "Hey, we're not law enforcement. We are a volunteer group that specializes in search and rescue recovery." They said it themselves that they leave the investigating to the law enforcement officers. But in this case, they are intentionally inserting themselves in this investigation by providing this 22-page report. So unless the sheriff's office has publicly came out here and said, hey, we, United Cajun Navy, we're conducting a joint investigation with United Cajun Navy. And my understanding is that they have not come out publicly to state that. I don't know. This is crazy.
Cajun Navy, who has been there from the get-go trying to help solve the case.
I mean, they're trying to place this, they're trying to say this is Nolan. Again, those shorts do not match. These are not blue shorts. In my opinion, they're not blue. In fact, this is what blue is. That's not blue.
Case, Marie Pereira, registered nurse, which is important. But she is a criminal defense attorney and domestic violence expert. She is a violence expert certified advocate. Marie, you saw that. All those people in my book are witnesses. One of them is saying at 7:30, Nolan was nowhere to be seen. Now, I want to see the video or the photo again because you want to tell me that this guy, Nolan Wells, hit his head and drowned and none of those people saw what happened? I find that really hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, and that's why it's extremely important that the law enforcement are not too proud to get help from the public. Like you said, if people are sending in videos, they should be using those videos to conduct further investigation. I'm praying that this is a situation like Brian Kohlberger, where the police department, they were being ragged and being called ranky-dink police, while all the time they were investigating and putting together.
Really? Really, lady? No. All the time, they were not investigating. Yeah, they were putting together a fucking false, a false narrative. That's what they were busy doing, putting together a false narrative.
A case against him. I hope that
Yeah, a false narrative of a case against Brian Koberger. You're right, lady.
yeah, because all the time they were saying, "Oh, what are they doing?" It was I think the DA had a long, big.
Man, free Brian Koberger. Free Brian Koberger too. This is bullshit. All right, let's continue on to the timeline.
I'll be happy to give her credit for all the help she gave us. But basically, I'll be happy to. So first of all, going back to your comment about internet sleuths, there's a lot of people consider themselves internet sleuths, but some people really are good. And there's one young lady who's helped us out on many cases, who was very helpful in this case. I haven't asked her permission yet if I could say her name, but if she gives me permission and I come back on, I'll be happy to give her credit for all the help she gave us. But
Bro, the Cajun Navy received assistance from an internet sleuth to create their timeline. What the fuck are we doing here? It's like me helping out the Cajun Navy and giving them shit and them saying, "Oh, we got it from Stoner Podcast." Yo, shout out to Stoner Podcast. Shout out to Not a Lawyer Podcast for this information. Are you guys hearing this shit? Are you guys hearing this shit? Because this is directly from the vice president of the Cajun Navy. He is directly telling us that he obtained assistance from an internet sleuth to create their timeline. Yo, shout out to Stoner Podcast for this. Puff, puff, pass. No, seriously, isn't this wild? It's wild. It's wild.
basically, what we did was we took, like I said, we took these pictures, we juxtaposed them to, like Google Earth and satellite pictures of the island to try to determine exactly where they were. We looked at the initial coordinates called out from I think from the Coast Guard or from Marine Patrol when the missing persons report first went out, and basically just.
Oh, wait, this one is not. Hold up, hold up, hold up. This one is clear, you guys. Let me screenshot it. Oh shit, we're gonna zoom in right quick. Ready?
Try to run these pictures against the island to try to determine exactly where they were. We looked at the initial coordinates called out from I think from the Coast Guard or from Marine Patrol when the missing persons report first went out, and basically just try to run these pictures against each other to say, okay, this just try to run.
You know what's interesting too, you guys?
Coordinates called out from the I think from the Coast Guard or from Marine Patrol when the missing persons report.
You see this? I think that's Atlanta Braves. That's the Atlanta Braves. And you know what's interesting to me, you guys? I see Atlanta Braves jersey. I'm telling you, my pattern recognition is patterning that I see an Atlanta Braves jersey of some dude. If I'm not mistaken, I saw that dude with an Atlanta Braves jersey on one of the pool parties. Okay, we're gonna pin this right here. Let me, because there's just too many rabbit holes. All right, so notice this Atlanta Braves flag, right? On the boat. Then we're also going to pull up pool party. Pool party, there's someone wearing Atlanta Braves jersey. Okay, let's try and correlate the two. All right, let's continue. Okay, so I took a screenshot of this. Now, let's zoom in. One shovel, one hole at a time. I love you. Okay, now let's zoom into that unredacted photo. Okay. And let's try and here, let's do this. Okay. There's the screenshot. Now let's zoom in. You guys, what do you guys think? Oh my God, what do you guys think, bro? Talk to me. Do you think that's Nolan? Is that a smile on his face? What is this? That white thing? Did he have a tag on? What's that? Guys, what do you guys think? Could this be Nolan? No, I don't know. No, I can't tell. It's too dark. Yeah. All right. Exactly. Like, okay, if it was an accidental drowning, just marry by the pool. I agree. If it's an accidental drowning, then come out with the autopsy. Come out and tell us, hey, this is what we believe investigating investigating this case. What we believe is that an accidental drowning took place, and show us the evidence. You know, that's crazy. I agree with you. I don't know. I thought it was like red, white, and blue, a USA thing, 4th of July. All right, let's go back to the video. But I think it's interesting how one of the photos is showing it redacted, but this one is unredacted. I wonder if they knew that. Also, this girl that Nolan is with or standing next to, she has a cowboy hat on. So I'm noting everything here.
First went out and basically just try to run these pictures against each other to say, okay, this boat's here now, it's not here later, and again, just create an index. We had to use some software to help us create the index of the pictures and make sure we put it into the best timeline we could. We included social media.
See, if they have the software, they're saying they have an index. I don't know what that is, but do you not have access to metadata? Are you not able to run these photos through metadata so that you can actually give us an accurate timeline?
Later, and again, just create an index. We had to use some software to help us create the index of the pictures.
We had to use some software to help us create the index of the pictures. So no metadata was taken, basically.
and make sure we put it into the best timeline we could. We included social media posts that, may or may not have been definitive, but this was happening in real time. So we thought it was important to put those up there to create context. And so again, like just trying to, our goal was to take what we've received, put it into a digestible format that just about anybody could understand, hopefully. And if it's helpful, great. If it's not, then I don't think.
It does more damage than helpful. In my opinion, this is doing more damage than being helpful because you're muddying the waters here with statements that you believe to be facts but are not facts. It's all hearsay. Unless you have pulled the metadata from these photos and showed us the metadata and the actual timestamps of the photos, then it's all useless. Then you're absolutely useless. I'm sorry. Your role here was to search and rescue, not provide a fucking investigative timeline. That's not your fucking job.
And no harm, no foul,
Oh, there's harm and there's foul. There will be harm and there will be foul. And you know that too. You're an intelligent guy, I bet, Brian Thrasher. I think you know that. I think you knew exactly what you were doing.
To Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter, based on this timeline, and it may be refined as the days go forward, how does it shift the timeline? Because there is a group of people fighting at 5 p.m. Who are they? The friends say they leave at 4:31. That should be able to be verified through GPS. 5 p.m. Nolan, according to them, is still at Horn Island. Is he? Because by 7:30, witness states Nolan nowhere in sight. So where was he? He wasn't floating in the water. He wasn't on the shore. If he had, hold on, Dave, to Joe Scott Morgan, if he had drowned, wouldn't.
Oh boy, here we go with body bags. Do we want to hear what body bags have to say? Joe Scott Morgan.
Months ago, and watch this. Ready?
He be floating in the water?
Perhaps. I've seen bodies in the immediate that will go directly to the bottom. And there are those that do in fact float. So a lot of it is going to depend upon the temperature of the water many times. A lot of it's going to depend upon, is there anything else out there that could, let's see, how can I put this, that could in fact impede the body's ability to float to the top, like beneath a.
That could, look at his smile, you guys. That could have been him. Look at Nolan's smile. Now we go back to that screenshot. He's smiling. Let me pull it up. I see a smile. That could be him, you guys.
Boat. And as you can see, there are a lot of boats out there. So if in fact that had occurred, you can actually have bodies that will be caught beneath other vessels. I've worked cases like that where they were looking around.
No, there were no boats out there. There were no boats out there though.
For someone, and they couldn't find them because the whole area was surrounded by vessels. And so there are a lot of elements that go into this, Nancy.
Okay, Nancy, we're going to skip her infomercials and let's go back to this footage
On
again.
page 12 of the United Cajun Navy report, it shows 3 boats and more anchored side by side. Boat number.
Actually, let's just go to the report, right? Oh, here's the picture. Here's the picture, you guys. The picture that keeps circulating. Let's put that on the screen again. Watch this, because the shorts he is wearing here does not match.
on the boat state they didn't know the name of the girl. They didn't know who she was. They had never seen her before. I'm paraphrasing. We can look up their exact.
I just saw 3 diagrams with different body found. I saw a body found here, and now I'm seeing it here. I saw it over here. Like, where exactly was he found? Because I'm seeing every diagram, I see the position change. It's weird.
Exact words. Then does it turn out they're actually texting with her about where is Nolan?
Apparently, Nancy, you have to realize a couple things here, and it's getting lost in the muck and the mire, is the friends. We use the term Nolan's friends that he went to Horn Island with. Well, you know what, Nancy? Many people have said that he didn't know Katie, they didn't know Katie before that day, and that Nolan just started talking to her. But now it appears that they, being the group of friends, they were communicating with Katie and knew who she was. And
right, we know this. We know the tricks. We know the tricks of the trade. Dissociation, right? Kaylee? I don't know that lady. I don't know Kylie. I don't know that lady. I'm talking about the Idaho 4 case. We've seen this before. We've seen this movie before many times. Dissociation. Hunter Johnson doesn't know that lady Kylie. Doesn't know Kylie. Yet there's a body cam footage where he's with Kylie. He's with Kylie. He knows Kylie. I mean Kaylee, of course, but he calls her Kylie in one of his interviews. Dissociation. Nobody wanted to associate themselves with Kaylee for some reason. I'm seeing the same script play over again. These are tricks from the devil. Tricks from the devil. They never get old. They never get old. Now everyone wants to dissociate from this Katie person that Nolan supposedly was with and stayed back on the islands with Katie.
that during
Then why would they say they didn't know who she was? Call her some girl.
Thank you. Get him, Nancy. Get him.
Oh, a girl.
Here's the problem, Nancy, is I keep hearing friends, but you realize that Nolan, he went out to Horn Island on a boat. You know, Warren Hudson has talked a lot. He's been with Officer Tatum talking about, his best friend Nolan and the whole thing. But first of all, Warren did not go to.
I mean, how many times are they're going to show us this? You see how they keep replaying this and replaying this because they want us to believe. They want us to believe that this is Nolan. So when I see shit like this playing on again and again, when I see the media forcing shit like this, just forcing it, I tend to go the other direction. This couldn't very well not be Nolan. It's probably not Nolan. Look at, this is a thick guy. Nah, Nolan is muscular. Nolan is a muscular dude. This is a thick, old, short guy. Nolan is tall, thin, and muscular, and the devil is a liar.
Horn Island on the same boat as Nolan Wells.
Nolan, I believe that is you.
And we have heard over and over from parents and friends, he would, run with the one that got you there, right? So Nolan went with one boat and they expected he would return on the same boat. Yet we're now finding out that was never the plan. He was never going back on the same boat that took him to the island. So when we talk about this group of friends, Nancy,
That's hearsay. What plan? Who knew their plan but the witnesses themselves? That's who knew the plan. This is all hearsay again.
Nolan Wells. And we have heard over and over from parents and friends, he would, run with the one that got you there, right?
How could they say Warren was not on the same boat when we're literally seeing a photo of Nolan on the same boat with Warren. Literally, they're trying to make us deny what we're seeing and what we're hearing.
Here's the problem, Nancy, is I keep hearing friends, but you realize that Nolan, he went out to Horn Island on a boat. You know, Warren Hudson has talked a lot. He's been with Officer Tatum talking about, his best friend Nolan and the whole thing. But first of all, Warren did not go to Horn Island on the same boat.
Wait. What do you mean he didn't go on to Horn Island on the same boat? So you just simply want us to dismiss this photo here? Hold on, where is it? Where's the photo? Because they are literally wanting us to dismiss this photo. Hold on. Let me look for it. Okay. Can you guys see this? No, let me go back. Share this. Let's share this. Why is it that they're wanting us to dismiss this photo? Okay. They're telling us that Nolan was not on the boat with Warren. They keep saying Nolan wasn't on the boat with Warren. So what is this then? What is this? Because to me, well, this is when they docked, right? They're docked here, right? We see Warren here with the white cap, right? That's Warren. Let's do this. And now when we zoom in here, yeah, I see the red. I see the red. Okay, cool. I guess I answered my question with this photo. You see Warren. Yeah, you see Warren with the red beads and Nolan with the red beads here. Okay, cool. So that answers that question, right? Now, if we go back to this photo, we have 1, 2. Is that the black boat? Is that Bart's black boat that's on the office report right here? You see that black boat in the background? Is that the black boat that's on the police report? Possibly. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 boats. Now, was this docked here and they took a picture, or was this while the boat was moving? Because these boats look like they're moving, no? Look at it looks like the boats are moving. Look at the water. The boats are moving, yeah? My boat experts, if there's any boat experts here. These boats look like, are they docked or are they moving? Because if they are moving, why does Warren continue stating that he was not on the same boat as Nolan when there's clear evidence of them being on the same boat? Clearly. They're on the same boat. And if these boats are moving, are they out in the sea or docked? Those are my questions, right? Now, let's keep it going. Now, let's go continue on with this video, and then we will show the report.
As Nolan Wells. And we have heard over and over from parents and friends, he would, run with the one that got you there, right? So Nolan went with one boat and they expected he would return on the same boat. Yet we're now finding out that was never the plan. He was never going back on the same boat that took him to the island. So when we talk about this group of friends, Nancy, they were scattered on 3 or 4 different boats. And we keep focusing on the one with the bilge pump problem. But now, what boat was Nolan Wells supposed to be going The plan. The plan.
I want to know why it looks like this boat you guys saw, right? Is that Nolan's hand? Okay, you guys, this cooler right here was seized by law enforcement. If you guys are just joining us, if you go back to the beginning, we have identified this cooler being seized by law enforcement. It's the same cooler. Now, what boat is this? It has the blue. Is this the Palm Beach boat? Is this the Palm Beach boat? Because when I go back to the report,
he was never going back on the same boat that took him.
They're stating this is Palm Beach, not that one. They're saying this one
to the island.
They're saying this is the Palm Beach boat.
So when
they're telling us this boat Warren is on is the Palm Beach boat. However, I want to know what boat is this, because that cooler was seized by law enforcement. If you go to earlier reports, you'll see the sheriff, not the sheriff, one of the officers, you'll see him continuously picking this up. It's like a loop. They have that video on loop. He picks up this cooler and places it in their truck, the police truck or whatever. So what boat is this? Now, let's continue.
Going back on the same boat that took him to the island. So when we talk about this group of friends, Nancy, they were scattered on 3 or 4 different boats. And we keep focusing on the one with the bilge pump problem. But now, what boat was Nolan Wells supposed to be going back to the mainland? We know he didn't ride with Warren Hudson to the island. So where was he supposed to be on?
We don't know that, actually. In fact, we don't know that. That's all hearsay. And we're not taking Warren's words as facts. We're not doing that here. No. Yes, we will analyze his words, but we're not taking that shit as facts. So actually, no, we don't know. We don't know yet who Warren rode with.
Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President, United Cajun Navy, on the case from the very beginning. Brian, do we know the time of the CETO call made from the Triton?
We do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it's been reported, and obviously the CETO would have the exact time of that recording and stuff in their archives. But it seems like it was after 3 o'clock, before 4:30, and we know that the tow was canceled because somebody got in touch with Bart Edmondson, who ended up towing the boat himself, being a good Samaritan. And of course, now that poor guy is getting raked over the coals.
Wow. Bro, they are coming out. The protection blanket on these boys is serious. Wow. Listen to this. Now Bart is the good Samaritan. Now Bart is the good Samaritan, you guys. This is crazy. They're wanting us to dismiss what we heard in that audio. I'm telling you, once that audio, the enhanced audio came out there, everyone and their mothers are pulling at straws to protect these boys. Now they're good Samaritans. I want to throw up.
And but it seems like it was after 3 o'clock, before 4:30, and we know that the tow was canceled because somebody got in touch with Bart Edmondson, who ended up towing the boat himself.
Someone got in touch with Bart Edmondson? Someone got in touch with Bart Edmondson? We're going to have to play that audio again. Because there's no way you're going to tell me I didn't hear what I heard. You're not going to tell me to dismiss what I heard? Nope, that's not happening here. We have independent thought and we have critical thinking skills in this channel. And you're not going to tell us to dismiss what we heard. This is fucking crazy.
Have the exact, time of that recording and stuff in their archives. But it seems like it was.
Listen to what he said. They have the time in their archives. Come on, dish it out. Give us the time, though. You see, it's what they don't say. It's what is left unsaid. That now we need to search for those answers. We need to search for those answers because you don't want to tell us. They have the time. Look, listen.
Time of that recording and stuff in their archives.
Okay, so what time was it? Nancy, I can't believe Nancy asked what time it was. What the fuck, Nancy?
Archives.
She truly didn't ask what time?
We do. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it's been reported, and obviously the CETO would have the exact time of that recording and stuff in their archives. But it seems like it was after 3 o'clock, before 4:30.
After 3, before 4. After 3, before 4. So within that 1 hour, they're saying that it's within that 1 hour, but they're not being exact. Where haven't we heard this before? Right? 4 a.m. Can I tell you pretty much what happened at 4 a.m.? Can I pretty much tell you what happened at 4 a.m.? Where haven't we heard this before?
Obviously, the CETO would have the exact time of that recording and stuff in their archives. But it seems like it was.
But it seems. So you're just coming out here with fucking bullshit. You're not even giving us the facts, bruh. We want the facts. We don't want to know what it seems like. We want the facts.
After 3 o'clock, before 4:30.
So now they're saying the call was placed after 3, before 4:30. Well, that's a whole hour and a half, right?
30. And we know that the tow was canceled because somebody got in touch with Bart Edmondson, who ended up.
But Bart was there. Bart was on the boat because we hear his name being called. So what are you talking about?
Towing the boat himself, being a good Samaritan.
Being a good Samaritan? Damn it, Bart. Damn it, Bart. You hear that shit loud and clear.
Of course, now that poor guy's getting, raked over the coals just for being a good, what we try to tell everybody to be, neighbor helping neighbor.
Now, didn't the grandpa call and cancel the tow?
Yeah, I think that I saw that report as well, and it may have been that somebody contacted him and said, hey, we got somebody to tow us, so maybe he called because he had a better signal and said, hey, they don't need it anymore. Again, these are all kind of, the things that were already out there. I don't think we included too much about that in our report because it had been reported on so much, but I also just wanted to point out too, on the photo on page 14, this is one that we included, even though we could, there's a young man that matches Nolan's description, and I'm saying it that way because we can't verify that it's him in this picture, and he's partially in it because there's a girl blocking him, but it's a young, slender African American male wearing blue swim trunks.
He's talking about that picture. I mean, they're not putting on the screen while he's talking.
Again, these are all kind of, the things that were already out there. I don't think we included too much about that in our report because it had been reported on so much. But I also just wanted to point out too, on the photo on page 14, this is one that we included, even though we could, there's a young man that matches Nolan's description, and I'm saying it that way because we can't verify that it's him in this picture, and he's partially in it because there's a girl blocking him, but it's a young, slender African American male wearing blue swim trunks from what you could see in the picture. According to the person that submitted that photo, it was taken at approximately 4:50 p.m. Central Time.
This one. He said this photo was taken at 4:50 p.m. Central Time. So wait, Mississippi, what time is Mississippi on Central or Eastern time? Mississippi time zone. Hang on, because they're trying to confuse us here. But we don't get confused easily. Hold on. So is Mississippi on Eastern or Central time? So Mississippi is in Central time. So if they're stating that this photo was taken at 4:50 Central time. Okay, so that's the exact time. Now, to me, this young fella looks more like Nolan than the other one that TMZ keeps circling in red. Than the other photo that TMZ is trying to make us believe that it's Nolan. This guy looks like more like Nolan. Tall, thin, right? And the other guy on the boat that TMZ keeps showing us is a short, chubby dude. Nah, that's not Nolan. Stop playing with me.
July 4th, which would have been after the GPS data says that the Triton had left Horn Island. Now, that's only relevant if this young man in the picture actually turns out to be Nolan. We never could verify it, but we thought it was important enough to at least include as a possibility.
Yeah, but now I'm not too sure if that 4:50 time you're giving us is accurate. Since all of a sudden, Brian Thrasher, on all of these photos, you don't have a correct timestamp, right? On all of these photos, you don't have a correct timestamp. But yet on this one, you want to claim that this photo is exactly 4:50, right? Let's hear that again. Hold on. Because all of a sudden you have the timestamp correctly on this one photo. But on all of the photos and data that you're providing on this report, you're unclear of the time. Yet here we go with this time.
But it's a young, slender African American male wearing blue swim trunks, from what you could see in the picture. According to the person that submitted that photo, it was taken at approximately 4:50 p.m.
Yeah, that's hearsay. That's hearsay, sir. That is hearsay. Unless you received the photo and verified it yourself with metadata and validated this information, this is hearsay. So again, what fucking useless information are you providing here? What are you bringing to the table, Cajun Navy? What are you bringing to the fucking table? Because you're bringing us hearsay. Hearsay is all I am reading.
Central Time on July 4th, which would have been after the GPS data says that the Triton had left.
How convenient. How convenient. You have to listen to the narrative they are forming. They are now wanting to tell us that this photo of allegedly could have been Nolan on the island at 4:50 is way after the time that the Triton left. Again, the audio doesn't lie. I'm sorry. I'm going with the audio.
Left Horn Island. Now, that's only relevant if this young man in the picture actually turns out to be Nolan. We never could verify it, but we thought it was important enough to at least include as a possibility.
From United Cajun Navy has provided on page 14 of their new timeline report. We're blowing it up. We see 1, 2, 3 at the forefront, 3 white females in bikinis, 1 white male walking along. Now, beside the woman in the bikini,
it's 3 on 3. 3 females and 3 men. 1, 2, 3 young men. 3 on 3.
Bikini on the right. I see 2 people. One looks like a female furthest away, but between the white female and the other female, there is an African American male. That does not look
And there's someone behind him. Look at the feet, look at the legs. There's someone directly behind him. Okay?
Look like Nolan Wells to me. Okay, I'm going to have to bring in NASA to enhance this. Brian Trasher, does this guy have facial hair? That's not Nolan.
I mean, again, we couldn't verify, but we could tell that it was an African American male on the beach wearing blue swim trunks. We thought that was enough to say, okay, it's possible, but we did
Those
like
are
you
dark
said.
blue.
I mean, skin tone.
Aren't those deep dark blue?
Yes, they
It
are,
looks like
Nancy.
it, but Nancy, I don't know if this picture's been enhanced. I don't know if it's been filtered. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's the whole reason why we couldn't corroborate, but was like, okay. And also too, this does create a good picture of a flotilla of boats. So where if we were looking for a particular one, it was a good one to hang on to. So again, full.
I'm sorry. This chubby little guy, this thick dude, you see how thick he is? You can tell because shorts are a little thick on a little tight up here. That's not Nolan. In my opinion, this is not Nolan, you guys. TMZ is wanting you to believe that that's Nolan, and we have to ask ourselves why.
Disclosing that we could not definitively say whether that was him or not. Probably not.
But we need it for the investigation. We need it.
Yeah.
And you provided it.
Rule it out.
You got it.
Use it to rule it out.
Okay, so is this...
Yeah, so get the freaking metadata instead of accepting hearsay from witnesses. You can't just be throwing shit out there. Cajun Navy, what the fuck are you doing? You can't just throw shit out there and say, hey, here's proof. Here's proof. Nolan, at 4:50, Nolan was on the island, you guys. Nolan was on the actual beach sand at 4:50. Therefore, he was not on that boat. Therefore, they're trying to discredit the audio. In my opinion, this is what I'm looking at. They're trying to discredit the audio, that enhanced audio, because it places Nolan on the boat, it places Warren on the boat, Wyatt on the boat, Bart. These are all of the names you hear in that audio. Nolan, Bart, Warren, Wyatt. They're wanting us to deny that.
It's Nolan. If it is Nolan, this is at 4:50, 4:50, and proves he's still on the island when the other boat, the Triton, leaves. I don't think this is Nolan. But that's just my own two eyes.
In my opinion, this looks like Nolan more than the other one does. Now what I'm questioning is the time of this photo is what I'm questioning on Nancy.
2020 and 2018, it needs to be enhanced. Joining us now, veteran trial lawyer out of the South Carolina jurisdiction, John Mobley, the founder of the John Mobley Law Firm. See, a lot of...
Okay, this is where we're going to get into the report now. All right. Thank you, Nancy, for that. Grayson, I agree with you. I'm not discrediting. I am not discrediting what the role of the Cajun Navy as a volunteer organization. I am not discrediting that fact. But what I am saying is that they have no business. They had no business. Sorry, TMZ had to, of course, place their big ol', logo on this, like, duh, we know it's from you. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I am not discrediting what the Cajun Navy has done as a volunteer organization. What I am saying is that the Cajun Navy has no business to come out here and provide to the public, knowing how divided the public is and how we're in quest for answers. We're on a quest for answers. And they're playing on to that desperation of the public wanting more answers. They're playing onto it and providing a analytical report. And that is not their job as a search and rescue organization. And when have you ever heard of this? When have you guys ever heard of the Cajun Navy supplying an investigative report or analysis on a case? Never. I've never heard of this. That's why, like, I feel that the cover up has reached a level. I'm speechless. I'm just speechless, honestly, you guys. I'm speechless. I can't believe it. Now, let's get to the report. And of course, we have to vet this information because the Cajun Navy has not vetted this information, okay? So we're going to take it with a grain of salt. Thank you so much, Valeria Jones. Thank you for being here. Mary by the pool, thank you for being here. All right, so here we go. Here it is. First page. They're saying this is a geospatial time. Am I saying this correctly? Geospatial.
Geospatial.
Okay, so this is the geospatial timeline and the vessel movement analysis provided by the Cajun Navy. Boat 1, Boat X, Boat 2, Boat 3, Boat 4. Now, where's the black boat? We don't know, right? We know there's a black boat, but it's not here. It's not listed. Let's continue. This report organizes the supplied photographs, videos, annotations, coordinates, and social media statements. It is not a law enforcement finding and does not determine criminal or civil responsibility. The central questions are straightforward, but the available record is not yet complete. At what time, which boats were present, which boats moved, when did they move, who was aboard them, when did the Triton begin to take on water, what happened between Nolan's last independently corroborated sighting and the 4:31 departure of the boat, which Nolan arrived at Horn Island. On which Nolan arrived at Horn Island. There remains a material gap in the timeline. The most useful next step is not to force a conclusion, but to identify exactly which events are visually documented, which are reported by witnesses, which are only annotated by secondary sources, and which remain unknown. So hearsay. Executive findings. The MDMR search data shown in the supplied correspondence picks this coordinate is only about 1.6 meters from the point. These two depictions therefore appear to refer to essentially the same location, subject to normal map GPS position. I don't know what they're trying to get at here. Boat number 2 and boat number 3, Palm Beach and Triton. So they're saying boat 2 is the Palm Beach and boat 3 is the Titan. Now, how does that make sense? Because you're saying Warren's on the Palm Beach. You see how this shit doesn't make sense? Boat 2 and 3. So you're saying this is the Palm Beach and this is the Triton? But then you have Warren on the Palm Beach? Bro, this is not making sense to me. Look. They're just confusing us even further. Boat X, boat number 2, and boat number 3, Palm Beach and Triton. What? They're saying there's a video at 427. The 427 recording shows boats and people in the anchorage. Because these are clocks visible inside captured social media content, they should be treated as timing indicators, not automatically as verified original camera timestamps. That's 427. But I thought they left at 431. So within minutes of this, they left. Post 431. That's the 5 o'clock p.m. They're saying they're almost fighting. And says a Bertram with a blue top left shortly thereafter. Pretty fast. A reply disputes that the relevant person was Nolan and says a different young man was present. This conflict is important precisely because it prevents treating the 5 p.m. accounts as a confirmed sighting of Nolan. Late observation, another supplied social media image states that the commenter was parked next to the group and that Nolan was nowhere in sight when the commenter left at 7:30. Okay, let's continue. To avoid overstating the evidence, this report uses this is not evidence, this is hearsay. This is not evidence. It's not evidence yet. This is not evidence. This is not evidence yet, it's hearsay. The only evidence that I have found in this case is the Marine report. That's an official evidence. The Marine report is an official document. And the audio. Those two are right now, to me, as the only evidence. This hasn't been vetted yet, so I would not consider this evidence. Okay, let's continue. So here's the exhibits. They're providing us a fight video, another fight video, and the one where it's that vessel cluster, Ellie's search coordinates, composite and image identifying the Palm Beach and the Triton boat. Okay, good. I want to see this one, A5. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so via Will Freeman, he's the captain of the Marine Patrol Report. Okay, I read this guy. Yeah, this guy completed, well, at least one of the reports that's available to us. As part of our response, the MSDMR request SAR data related to the missing person. The MDMR will use this data to start sonar scans in the area. Remember how the sonar scans weren't working? Remember that? There were two things on that MDM report that didn't seem right. One, the sonar scans weren't working, they said. And then the drones weren't working. So that's the location they gave us of where his body was found. Okay? Which is right here. Right here. Wait. 6N. Yep, right here. Shorts only. 61180. Based on the vessel GPS data, though. Wait, huh? Based on the original vessel GPS data. Oh, okay. So that's where he was found. Now, figure 3B is approximately 279 meters from the MDMR data. This is a strong geospatial match for figure 3A, but it does not itself establish when the vessel occupied that point or what occurred there. Oh, you guys, this is the GPS coordinates of when they were the call. Hold on. I have that info. Give me 1 second. I have that information here somewhere. Remember when on the call, on the audio call, he's giving his coordinates? Let me match it up because I think this is it. 30, 14, 41, 30, 14. We're going to have to play the audio to make sure. But this is what they're saying, that here's where Nolan's body was found. Those are the coordinates of where Nolan was found, right? Okay, let's continue. Next. Working timeline. Here's their working timeline. So before 3:23 p.m., there was no continuous chronology established. 3:23 p.m., a vertical screen recording displays a phone clock of 3:23 while showing the crowded anchorage nearby with the boats. User identifies this as the starting of the critical gap. Exact time and corroborating source are not contained in this package. 4:27. A second supplied vertical screen recording displays a phone clock of 4:27 while they're showing boats and people in the anchorage. Okay. 4:31. I mean, we have a whole hour missing here. This is a whole hour missing. 4:31, the boat on which Nolan arrived at Horn Island departed at 4:31 per the user supplied timeline. The supplied package does not include the GPS data at this time. 5 p.m. Matthew Lamp states a passenger was pretty certain a person was part of a group that was almost fighting around 5 p.m. He says that Bertram with blue top left. Bertram with a blue top left. Bertram. What is that? Bertram boat. Let me see how it looks. You gotta look at the image. I see. Okay, so they're saying that this Bertram boat left shortly afterward and fast at 5 p.m. Not believed to be a factor. Well, it's a factor in my investigation. I'll tell you that. Tell you that much. If you don't want to use this as a factor, then don't. I'll use it as a factor. That's crazy. Not believed to be a factor. Conflicting. Melissa Thomas disputes the identification, states a different young man was with her group, and says they spoke to the boys, one of whom had the entire vodka bottle. 6. MDMR correspondence later uses 1800 Central Time. So since they want to confuse us with the military time, 1800 is 6 p.m. with the original vessel. This should not be interpreted automatically as a sighting. I'm confused because they're not telling us what boat. Okay, cool. The MDR uses 6 p.m. with the origin vessel. I'm confused. What does that mean? See, it's just like wanting to confuse us even more. Maybe it's a photo. We'll get there. 7:30, Caitlin says that they were parked next to the group and he was nowhere in sight. That's at 7:30. 4:50, new supplied shoreline photograph shows the crowded anchorage. Frontier Bay, boat number 2, is no longer in its position, matching the positional change seen in the later video. Okay, now let's continue. That's their timeline. Now what is this? Okay. So as the boat 1, notice how they're not giving us the name of the boat. Just confuse us. See, boat X, what's the name of it? Boat 2 is the Frontier Bay. Boat 3, repeatedly annotated near cluster Palm Beach side. Is this the is boat 3? So now we have the Triton. Wow, so there's a lot of boats, you guys. Look, they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boats, bro. 7. Okay, let's continue. Boat X, boat 2, boat 3. Mooring on the palm. Boat 2, boat 2. They're saying this is boat 2, boat 3. Huh? Boat X is missing, they're saying. Boat 1. Oh, okay. According to this view, looking out, they're able to see boat 3 and boat 2. But they're saying this one is missing. Okay, let's continue. Fight video. From boat 1, 2, 3. Here's the fight video. Yes, I caught Warren here. Boat 2. Boat 2, they're saying, is the Triton? No. They're on board the Triton. Triton, Palm Beach, boat 3. Okay. So if you're on the Triton taking a photo, if you're on here and you're taking a photo, you'll be able to see the Palm Beach and this boat 3. Okay. Let's continue. This is the photo they're saying was taken at 4:50. Could that be Nolan? I mean, it could be AI. It could, we don't know. We don't know if that's Nolan, but they're simply providing that, stating that that picture was taken at 4:50. They're saying if the 4:50 capture time is authenticated, the photograph establishes an upper bound time. The Frontier Bay had moved from its earlier position by 4:50. It does not establish the exact minute of the movement, the destination, or the occupants, or any connection between the movement on Nolan's disappearance. Nolan possibly in this photo, but it's not confirmed. Okay, let's continue. Video derived timing indicators. So you see how this is 3:23, 4:27, but that's just the time the screenshot. That's just the time of the that they screenshot this. Like that's wild. They are taking this as a timeline when that is simply a screenshot. Are you guys seeing this? What the fuck? Okay, let's continue. Okay. Phone interface displays 3:23. Yeah, that's the screenshot, dude. Like if you go like this and you just take a screenshot of your phone, like look, I just took a screenshot. Of course the time's going to display. Like what are we doing here? This can't be real. Of course the time's going to display that. That's crazy though. Hey guys, thank you for being here. Grace, thank you. Grace Ganoush. Ganoush. I like that. Who was fighting? Thank you. Hi AJ, what's up? What's up? Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. You guys are seeing this, right? Like we know. We know that like if you take a screenshot of something, it's going to show up on the left corner. The left corner. You see that? You see, I just took a screenshot of this and the timing appears on the left corner. So they're really saying this is the time and that's the time. That's wild, guys. That is wild. What? Whatever. I'm just saying, this is crazy. The displayed times are visible in screen recorded social media content. They may be the phone's current time when they screen recorded was made rather than the original event. Exactly. That's exactly my point. So, like, these guys are smart. They know this. They know that, oh my God, that's crazy. Now, watch how they use this data for their timeline. Watch. Let's go back to their timeline. Look, you guys. They used that data. They used the screenshot time as part of their working timeline. Yo, that's crazy. It's like, how can I explain this? I mean, I know you guys understand me because I know you guys are smart. I know you guys understand me, but let's say for shits and giggles, right? For shits and giggles, right? Okay. I'm on my Instagram account, right? We're on Instagram. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this video. As I take the screenshot, do you see the time now? Now, on that video I took a screenshot of, you see the time on the left-hand corner? You see that? These people are using that. It's like saying, oh, this is my timeline. Okay, so I'm going to start my timeline at 10 o'clock a.m. because according to this Instagram screenshot, it was taken at 10 o'clock a.m. However, that's incorrect. That's incorrect because I posted this video July 28th. See that? The video was posted July 28th. So how dare you use the screenshots to develop your timeline of 323 and 427? How dare you use that data to create a false narrative and a false report, a false timeline? You're using that to create a false timeline and a false narrative of what occurred on the 4th of July. That's insane. That is insane. Here's the Matthew Lamp post. One of my passengers is pretty certain he was part of the group that was almost fighting around 5. The Bertram with the blue top that I posted left shortly after that, and pretty fast, he added. Then Melissa says, Matthew Lamp, sir, you are sadly mistaken. We are the group you yelled at as you pulled up thinking we are going to hit you, and we aren't. We weren't, and we were paying attention. Totally different kid was with us. I was with the Bertram boat, and we had no affiliation with him. We hate to hear this has happened, but do not smear people if you did not actually see something. This causes more issues. If she's coming through a little defensive, might I add. You're a little defensive, girl. This causes more issues than the people in charge trying to find this baby, and it creates stories that are false. We did speak to the boys, and that moment, he did have an entire vodka bottle in his hands. You need to revamp your statement and not put blame towards anyone. Oh, wow. What's crazy is that he wasn't, in this post, he's not placing blame on anyone. But this post is actually super defensive. All right, let's continue. Caitlin says we were parked right next to them and there was no, and we left at 7:30, nothing in sight, he says. You see this guy here? Is that Warren? Nowhere in sight at 7:30. But why does that look like Warren? Because if it does look like Warren, then what are you doing there at 7:30? Doesn't that look like Warren, you guys? Is that Warren on the Palm Beach? Because if that's 7:30, let me screenshot this for shits and giggles just in case. Could that be Warren on the Palm Beach at 7, allegedly, in my opinion, 7:30? We got to investigate that one further. Let's continue. We're almost done with this piece of shit report. The missing piece, the evidence presently supplied. The evidence this is not evidence. This is all hearsay, buddy. This ain't no evidence. This is hearsay. This is hearsay, and now we have to vet this shit that you supplied. The evidence presently supplied does not answer the most important question. What happened during the uncorroborated internal immediately before? No, we want to know what happened, period. No, we're not placing timestamps on anything. Immediately before the 431? No, we want to know what happened immediately before, immediately after, immediately the following day, immediately the day before. We're not putting no timestamp on anything. And this is in all bold. Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, sure, buddy. No. We don't care. We care about it all. We're not limiting. We're not going to limit our fucking investigation on immediately before the 431 departure of the boat. No, we will not. We will not limit our investigation immediately before the 431. It's going to be immediately before the 431, immediately after the 431, immediately after his body was found. Everything. Every goddamn thing. Listen, like, who the fuck are you? Are you fucking kidding me? The working reconstruction suggests 5 specific evidentiary problems. And now these people that claimed the Cajun Navy literally came out. Their first statements to the public were, we're not law enforcement. I can play those videos if you want. They said, we're not law enforcement. We are a volunteer group that specializes in search and rescue and search and recovery. We leave the investigating to the law enforcement officers. They said, verbatim, quote unquote, verbatim. We are a volunteer group that specializes in search and rescue and search and recovery. We leave the investigating to law enforcement officers. Now here, what does this say to me? The working reconstruction suggests 5 specific evidentiary problems that must be solved together. Hey, Cajun Navy, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Stay in your fucking lane. Stay in your fucking lane. This is for investigators. It's not for volunteers in a search and rescue. Stay in your fucking lane. They're saying that authenticate the last independent corroborating sightings, authenticate 323 and 427 media, determine whether those times are event time. Yeah, but authenticate, but yet you started a whole fucking timeline using these times. You freaking started your working timeline using the fucking times that have not been authenticated. It's crazy work. This is crazy work, you guys. I'll tell you what, they're trying their hardest. They're trying their hardest to discredit the audio we heard. From my perspective, now they want us to identify boat X and boat 1, boat 2. No, fuck out of here. We're identifying all fucking boats. And I want that black boat on the fucking official police report identified as well. No boats left behind. Identify them all. No, we're not going to limit this investigation and tie it up into a nice, cute little bow. No, we're not limiting this investigation and boxing it up just to fit your narrative. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Recommended. Bruh, stay in your lane. Go recommend some search and rescue. How about that? Go recommend search and rescue. Not an investigation like this. Completely useless. Completely again. You see this guy? They're trying to tell us this chubby dude. They're trying to say this chubby dude is Nolan. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. That chubby kid is not Nolan. Fuck out of here, TMZ. Fuck out of here, Cajun Navy. Now let's play that. Before we go, I'm going to roll that tape. We're going to listen to the audio and end it at that note because they're trying to discredit. They're trying to discredit this person. Nolan Wells audio. But we're not doing that. We're not going to discredit her work. Where you at? Audio expert. Nolan Wells enhanced audio. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're not going to deny. We're not denying what we heard. We're not doing that. Jeanette Bailey. Let's listen to this. I think he has it. He's going to play it.
If you live anywhere here in the Red Island area, looking at that old cracked stained garage floor, take a look at this. It looks like epoxy, but it's not.
It's a enhanced audio that's going viral right now by Nolan's friend that I want you to check out. Check your phone right quick. I want to get your take on.
Chico Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the West Tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're thinking. Can y'all please tell me we have a membership?
All right, of course. How far is it coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
That I did not know that existed. And if this is authentic radio transmission between the dispatcher and the caller, then certainly this turns it on its head. They're observing him in shirt, asking if he's dead. Whoever on that call. It's an enhanced audio that's going viral right now by Nolan's friend that I want you to check out. Check your phone right quick. I want to get your take on.
detail assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please tell me we have a membership?
All right, of course. How far is it coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
That I did not know that existed. And if this is authentic radio transmission between the dispatcher and the caller, then certainly this turns it on its head. They're observing him in shirt, asking if he's dead. Whoever on that call, with the technology we have now, and with interviews amongst the folks who were there, or the phone that the emergency call came from. The dispatcher has that number. Someone can get it. Then you'll go to the person who made the call and say, what did you see? This is real easy if that is the case. So we'll see what they do with this evidence. The fact that there's some audio from the dispatcher where the person calling asks, or in the background, one or the other, asks, oh my God, is he dead? So that's a whole new level of evidence that I'm interested in seeing where they go with that. And perhaps that's what the prosecutor may have all of this information and say, we're not sharing it because we don't want to bias, we don't want to create bias, and et cetera, in the case because in the media, and she may have that. She may have that and take it right to the grand jury. That's what I'm hoping. If they don't disclose it to the widespread media this week.
I don't know how you could justify that audio.
Yeah. Not with someone in the background saying, is he dead? Even if you were calling to say there was a fight, it sounds like you're looking at something that has already happened.
Can you hear me? Testing, testing. I just want to go ahead and finish this live. I am so sorry. Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I want to go ahead and finish the live that we started. Again, I was sharing.
It's a enhanced audio that's going viral right now by Nolan's friend that I want you to check out. Check your phone right quick. I want to get your take on it.
Okay. So. Okay.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
That I did not know that existed. And if this is authentic radio transmission between the dispatcher and the caller, then certainly this turns it on its head. They're observing him injured, asking if he's dead. Whoever on that call, with the technology we have now, and with interviews amongst the folks who were there, or the phone that the emergency call came from, the dispatcher has that number. Someone can get it. Then you'll go to the person who made the call and say, what did you see? This is real easy if that is the case. So we'll see what they do with this evidence. The fact that there's some audio from the dispatcher where the person calling asks, or in the background, one or the other, asks, oh my God, is he dead? So that's a whole new level of evidence that I'm interested in seeing where they go with that. And perhaps that's what the prosecutor may have all of this information and say, we're not sharing it because we don't want to bias. We don't want to create bias, et cetera, in the case because in the media, have it, and she may have that. She may have that and take it right to the grand jury. That's what I'm hoping, if they don't disclose it to the widespread media this week.
Yeah, I don't know how you can justify that audio.
Can't. Not with someone in the background saying, is he dead? Even if you were calling to say there was a fight, it sounds like you're looking at something that has already happened and you witnessed what happened and you're saying, did he die from what I just saw? That's what you're saying. Oh, is he dead? Or what? Somebody walked you from around the park and said, hey, or around the other boat dock and say, hey, come look at this. No, you were there. So if that video and audio is correct, it's a whole nother level of evidence that indicates culpability.
And just for clarity, what do you personally believe happened to Nolan Wells?
Well, what we're told is that he got on the boat with several white buddies in Mississippi, went to Fun Island, for lack of a better term, where everybody goes to this island to have fun on their boats. Overwhelmingly 90 to 100% white, 99.9 perhaps if you include Nolan. And his buddies say they left him there. He ends up dead. His buddies say we left him there and we told him to come, let's go. He refused to go. However, we had his phone and you claim that Everybody puts their phone away when they're on the island, and I don't believe that for 1 minute that teenagers leave their phones for hours just because they're on the island. What's the relationship there? You don't want to drop it in the sand, or you don't the water. You can drop it in the water then. Nonetheless, that, and then of course them not returning the phone to his mother, time they arrived back, them not reporting him missing to his parents or their own parents. Then we have the young lady, Katie, who he allegedly stayed back to be with. Her sister says that they weren't spending a lot of time with Nolan and that they also left without Nolan, meaning they had seen Nolan go somewhere when they were leaving. Did y'all just shake, hug, and walk away? And then someone saw him and said, hey, let's get with him because he kissing and hugging on that white woman and we don't play that and don't want to play that? Or is it, as I think it is, that they had something to do with his drowning and they've come up with a variety of alibis that don't make sense? And so I believe it has something to do with his drowning, or certainly some knowledge of it. They have knowledge of it at the very least.
Okay, I'm trying to find the complete audio. You guys give me one moment. I know that Willie D interviewed Janet Bailey and played the Nolan Wells' friend's attorney, tried to discredit the audio engineer. It backfired. Okay, so let's listen to this interview.
Process. Somebody who
Now, I like this one. I like this one because it actually shows the steps she took in this audio. Ready? Here we go. Starts here. Ready?
Yes. How far is the water
Here we go. Yeah, listen to this one. It shows the steps this audio engineer took to enhance the voices in this audio. And you will see for yourself that all of the editing she did.
Cecil Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up.
she hooking it up.
Mary, that's a great question, Mary. That's a great question because you'd think that the dispatch call would have been a piece of evidence that the Cajun Navy analyzed, right? But again, I believe that they are attempting, sorry, my yard guys. I believe that they are attempting to discredit the audio. That's the problem. But if they are looking at all evidence, the Cajun Navy should have 100% analyzed the dispatch audio itself. Great question. Yeah, I agree. I wanted to hear his reaction. That's why I played him. I still have no conclusions, just seeking missing information. I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, so now let's continue playing this. You'll see how she did this audio. She literally saved the file directly from the WLOX channel, okay? And she's at that girl Netta Instagram. Oh, let me try and pull her up. 1 second. That girl Netta Instagram.
Girl is surgical with it. Don't play the whole video, fam. No cuts.
Our Doge stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hello! Shut the fuck up!
Damn it, Bart. No. Now, can you guys understand why they're trying to discredit this audio? They're trying to discredit this audio because of what is being said and because how this audio can is placing this audio places Nolan and it places Bart, it places Warren, and it places Wyatt in this boat. Okay? So that's why this is being discredited.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hello! Shut the fuck up! Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking. our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut the up! Shut the fuck up!
Okay, now I want to play her video. 1 second. I found her. Okay. I hope you guys can hear this. Okay, I found her Facebook. Ready? Let's play this. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
The way that I did. As a professional, I play this, I want to quickly explain what I did, what you're looking at on the screen, and why I chose to approach this audio the way that I did. As a professional audio engineer with experience in dialogue editing, dialogue cleanup, sound design, and post-production, I decided to work on that CTO call using traditional audio processing techniques rather than relying on any AI voice separation or AI enhancement. My goal was pretty much to preserve as much of the original recording as possible while making the quieter dialogue and background audio easier to hear. So I basically used techniques such as subtractive EQ, compression, gain adjustments, noise reduction, frequency isolation, and other traditional processing methods. So what I did was I separated Vicky, the CTO dispatcher, from Warren and the audio originating from the boat so that I can concentrate more closely on what was happening behind and around Warren, pretty much on the boat. And I specifically chose not to rely on AI because aggressive AI enhancements and voice isolation tools can sometimes introduce artifacts and distort the speech or create ambiguity around the sounds that were originally present. And for something this serious, I wanted my processing to remain as conservative as possible. You'll also notice time code and dialogue written on the side of the screen and pop up during each segment. That dialogue represents what I personally hear as an audio engineer while processing and repeatedly reviewing these sections. I'm pretty much providing it as a listening reference, not as a declaration that my interpretation is the only possible interpretation. And that's important. I want you to listen for yourself, use headphones if you have them, listen closely, and decide with your own ears what you believe is being said. You can also return to the original unprocessed recording and compare it directly with what you're hearing here. You'll also notice that my time code may not match the regular timestamp on the original uploaded video. And that's because I'm working inside a professional post-production timeline, a digital audio workstation, basically using simply time code, which in film, that's displayed in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Film and TV timelines are completely different from timestamps that you see when you're watching regular videos or when you're watching a movie and you hit pause. So basically the time code on the screen is there to identify the precise location within my working session, not to represent the elapsed timestamp displayed by the original video player. And I hope that makes sense. For this first video, I'm sharing only approximately 37 seconds of the call. I originally intended to continue much further, but once I separated the dispatcher from the boat and started concentrating exclusively on the background dialogue, what I believed I was hearing became extremely difficult for me to process emotionally, and I needed to take a mental break. But I wanted to release this portion because some of the details that stood out most to me occurred very early in the call, like right at the top of the call. And so I'm gonna let the audio play, read my transcription if you want to reference, but don't allow it to determine what you hear. I want you to listen first, listen again, compare it with the original recording, and then judge it with your own ears. I hope this breakdown helps. And my
Hey, Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
Sorry, I reject that comment. This is not a waste of time. I reject that. This is valuable information that needs to be out there, that the public needs to hear. I'm not wasting my time here. Okay? I make sure that my time here is valuable and that I'm presenting valuable information for you guys, so it's not a waste of time. Let's listen. So let's start this from the beginning. Here we go. Ready?
You hear. I want you to listen first, listen again, compare it with the original recording, and then judge it with your own ears. I hope this breakdown helps.
You heard that, you guys? Can we cover it up? Yeah, I thought all about that. That is crazy. Oh boy.
Breakdown helps. Am I
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
That was it. I'll run it through one more time.
decide with your own ears what you believe is being said? You can also return to the original unprocessed recording and compare it directly with what you're hearing here. You'll also notice that my time code may not match the regular timestamp on the original uploaded video. And that's because I'm working inside a professional post-production timeline, a digital audio workstation, basically using simply time code, which in film, that's displayed in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Film and TV timelines are completely different from timestamps that you see when you're watching regular videos or when you're watching a movie and you hit pause. So basically, the time code on the screen is there to identify the precise location within my working session, not to represent the elapsed timestamp displayed in my.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Hey, up! Shut the fuck up!
All right, guys, I'm ending it on that note. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for updates on the Nolan Wells case. Thank you. Justice for Nolan.